So the next thing is the main volume bit, which is going to be really quite simple. So I'm just going to create a cylinder, bring that up. It's already set to 8, which is fine. Bring this over, get it into place, and you can see it's skewed because of the angle. So I'm just going to get it roughly in place, relatively central. I'm looking at that edge. And then what I want to do, I'll just bring this up completely for the time being, is take both edges and just bevel them, turn the chamfer off, reduce the fraction, maybe to say 0.2, 0.02. So it keeps it nice and tight, although actually looking at it is not tight, it's actually quite rounded on the top one. So I'm going to bevel them. So I'm just bringing this in, and that's it. I'm not looking at my reference, which is what I should be doing. So it's sharp at the bottom with a little bit of a lip actually that sticks out, and then that top one is rounded. So that's what I need to try and accomplish. So I might want to bevel this top edge and then reduce the fraction. And I might add in segments and try and match the reference as much as I can. 0.3, maybe 4 segments. Three on the keyboard. I think that's pretty good, to be honest. And then down the bottom, I'm going to put a loop around here. Maybe a bit more, make it a bit more prominent. And then select the ring and extrude that out a little, not too much. Just maybe there. Actually, 0.25, I think is what I was trying to get. Two. Be there in the end. 0.15. That's it. That's what I'm after there. And then I will bevel this edge and reduce the fraction so it's kind of small. And I'm going to leave it just as a bevel as opposed to and then I'm going to bevel that edge too. Hit 3 on the keyboard, page up a couple of times to get that kind of lip going on there. Underneath, I can actually just delete these faces because I don't need them. And on top, there's that kind of indentation. So I'm going to take those, extrude in. Oops. I'm going to just extrude that down, only a little bit rather. And I'm just going to extrude the offset in ever so slightly because then it will bake nicer. And then I want to just take those edges and bevel. And oops. And I'm going to reduce, and I'm going to keep it just as a bevel as opposed to the 3. So it's a little bit softer. Like so. And that, I think, is done. So D and V, so I want to align that pivot point down on the lowest axis point and snap that on there. Obviously, at the moment, that button is a little on the large side. So I want to come in here and make sure it's lined up, which it is. And then in this view, I can grab the vertices. And to be fair, I'm going to just pull this over. It's not, I don't know if that needs flipping, and then it would be, let's just do that. And then I just center my pivot on this. Freeze transformations. Okay, it's not allowing me to do that with this. So what I'll do is press Control and G, which will group it. And then that will reset all of this there together on this image plane. And then if I just do a -1 on that, oops, on the Z maybe, -1, there we go. Now that will flip that over, so then it actually aligns with the thing better. And then I can just, I'm going to literally scale this down, but so I think because then it will match that bevel better. But I'm going to bring that down to there. Kind of squish that down. So then that is the right height going on there. It doesn't quite match if I was to move that there. The bevel is a little bit too strong, but I quite like it, so I'm just going to leave it. It's not a major concern of mine. It's still got that nice kind of look bevel to it and that indentation. So then we've got that there. And then looking at my reference again, that is just essentially a light. So that I can do that with texture. I'm going to leave that as it is. And then I need to work on the other side. So I've already got this and that in place. And then it's just that which will be slightly different. So I'm going to take this. So yeah, take this and copy it over to the other side, basically. So the dial, let's just take the dial, Control, and you can see it could probably be a bit bigger. So on the scale tool, I want to scale it on, this axis and that axis, but I don't want to make it taller. So if I grab this one, that will allow me to expand that out a little bit bigger. And if we just do this, you'll see that it's just doing it on those two axes and not making it taller, which is a really useful thing to have to do. So let's just bring that down. I'm looking at both the side view and the top view to make sure that that matches as close as I can. Not worried about that because, as we've already identified, it's on an angle, so it's going to be off. So I've got the two views there, which can help me get it more accurately. Now Control and D to duplicate. And then I'm just going to move that over there. But what I will do actually first is move my pivot to the middle, D and X to snap to the grid. And I'm just going to freeze transformations, delete my history, and do a -1. And you'll see that it will be perfectly over onto that side. And remember, it kind of overlaps on there anyway, like so. So looking at the design of it, it's perfectly symmetrical to that central point. So rather than manually moving it over, I'm going to do that myself. And then this, what I want to take is essentially this. So I'm going to take this button, Shift and Grow Selection, and I'm going to Shift right click and duplicate faces. So wherever possible, I'm going to take what I've already got. There we go. Just click it a few times. So I've got it. And then I'll just center my pivot. It's already centered when I've done this, so that's fine. -1. And then that'll put that in the perfect place for me already. So I've just duplicated those faces and moved them over. So I've got the exact same button sort of topology in place there. And then I've just got the aerial. So if I come in, looking at this, you've got this kind of black casing, and then it comes out of there. So I don't really need to go down. I can just have this as an external piece sitting on top. So essentially, with this piece, that's the only bit of detail that I need within it. So what I will do is I'm just going to take that edge and I'll take this, and then I'm going to just hold down V, snap it up to there, and then snap it out. So then I've got that one. Well, I could just take that, to be fair, and just, no, that won't work like that. Snap this into a square, basically. 1 and 2. And then I can just take that up or out or extrude. And I think I'm going to extrude it. So take it to there. And then extrude. Take it all the way to there. And then extrude. And take it all the way down. And then I will just take those edges, and I just want to connect just so it divides a little more even when we get to that point. It's not absolutely necessary, but it will just help divide things a bit better. Maybe like that. So it's all roughly the same divisions in it. I want to go to object mode, select, and then when I hit 3 on the keyboard, then that kind of just holds and supports that a little better, and it will divide more even, and when we smooth it, and it'll be fine. So that's fine. And then that doesn't have that, but it doesn't really matter too much, but then that matches there. So as we can see, it's all starting to come together. So just hit there, make sure it's all on subdivision. So it's all coming together nicely as we might want it.